Hello and welcome to Moving Iron Podcast. This edition of the Moving Iron Podcast is brought to you by these great sponsors. Axon started out of a passion for keeping agriculture moving. Imagine having 100 years of tire and wheel knowledge in your back pocket the next time you sell a piece of ag equipment. To find more or become an Axon dealer, please visit axontire.com. This podcast is also brought to you by Valley Transportation. Valley Transportation has been hauling ag and construction equipment across the country for the past 33 years. Call Parker at 800-657-4910 or go to valleytransinc.com for all your trucking needs. At Valley Transportation, our goal is to help you reach yours. This podcast is also brought to you by Ag Direct. No matter how you buy your ag equipment, from a dealer, auction, or a private party, Ag Direct can help you finance it. You can even apply online at agdirect.com. Learn more about your financing options at agdirect.com.
Hey, what's rule number one? What's rule number one?
Party?
No, not party. No, it's not party.
Moving higher in the 21st century. Hard-working people working hard for you and me. Moving higher, time and time again. Through the years you'll find us here. Moving higher.
Hello and welcome to Moving Iron Podcast number 253. This edition of the Moving Iron Podcast is brought to you by Axon Tire, helping dealers move more iron for the past 100 years. For more information, go to axontire.com. Aaron.
Yes.
You like a nice piece of cold steel in your pocket?
I do. Nothing like a nice piece of perhaps sharp cold steel.
If you like that, go to marketing at axontire.com and they will send you 100% free a nice branded Alliance Tire branded pocket knife
Fantastic.
that you can put in your pocket
Absolutely.
and whittle whatever you want, open letters,
Cut net wrap.
whatever you want to do.
Cut net
Totally up to you.
wrap. Tons and tons of net wrap.
Whatever you want to do. Don't stab any sidewalls though, because that's bad.
That is bad.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah.
But if you want to,
Easy.
go to marketing at axontire.com and they will, and make sure they tell you got it from Moving Iron Podcast. Give them all your details, totally free to your place. You're gonna love it.
That is fantastic.
Fantabulous. All right. Valley Transportation has also been hauling ag and construction equipment across the country for the past 33 years. Call Parker at 800-657-4910 or go to valleytransinc.com for all your trucking needs. At Valley Transport, our goal is to help you reach yours. And no matter how you buy ag equipment, from a dealer, auction, or a private party, Ag Direct can help you finance it. You can even apply online at agdirect.com. Learn more about your financing options at agdirect.com. All right, so there's a few things going on in the world right now. If you take a look, all the craziness happening in Ukraine, all the craziness that's going on there, and how that's going to play out. Aaron and I both have a mutual friend that is stuck over there right now, Alex Rachenko, and he works with us here, and I've been talking with him over the past, since Tuesday night, Wednesday night, whenever it was that things kicked off, and keeping in touch with him where he's at and what's going on and what he's seeing and what those things look like. I hope to get him on the podcast so he can kind of tell about what things are happening. But I mean, it is it's just a crazy situation.
It's wild, man.
I mean, it's one thing to watch.
What did you say? You talked to him earlier. He went 10 miles in 2 hours.
2 hours. Yeah. 10 miles in 2 hours. I mean, it's just...
Oh, man.
You know, I've been to Ukraine probably, I think 3 times. Yeah, 3 times. And I've gotten to know people there that are in harm's way. You know, I mean, Alex obviously is over there right now. My friend Anna, she lives in Dnipro, just south of Kiev, and I've talked to her a few times. I've sold sprayers to her and for the company she works for. The contact that I have in Kiev, I've not been able to get a hold of since this whole thing started. So, I mean, who knows where these people are at, what they're doing. But it's just a crazy time right now. And I mean, obviously the markets have reacted to everything we've seen.
Slightly.
Slightly. I mean, you talk about knee jerk in both directions. I mean, let's just talk about wheat for a minute. I mean, wheat, obviously, one of the biggest commodities that come out of that area. I think Russia is the biggest exporter of wheat in the world, and I want to say like Ukraine's like 5 or something like that. And then couple all that with all the wheat that comes out of that region, all comes out of the Black Sea, and so obviously the Black Sea's in the middle of turmoil there. So, you had wheat limit up.
I was going to be really smart, and I was going to say, yes, the Black Sea region. And you said the Black Sea, that whole region over there. I was like, damn it, man, you stole it. I was going to look really smart because I watch a lot of Ag Day, but ship sailed.
Well, it's a good pun, though.
Oh, Black Sea.
Good point. So you have that whole thing happening. I mean, you had the previous 4 days before today, I think you had wheat up like 30, then it was up like 45, and then it was up 50, limit up the next day, and then obviously people jumped in and took some profit. I want to say wheat was down like 83 today.
78.
78. Soybeans were down 70 something. Corn was down 40 something.
That's just ridiculous.
But I mean, it's profit taking, right?
I know, but when they what do they call that? They don't call it raise the limit. They call it expanded limits. When they do that, it's like, okay, everybody just calm down a minute.
Well, they do that on purpose.
I know, and that's a whole nother. It's a whole nother section of.
So here's the thing. So like all those wheat, that market had expanded trade limits today.
Right.
And today was the day that it because they expanded limits, it went
out of bed.
It went out of the way. Now, obviously, they're just doing some profit taking. I mean, all these traders. I mean, they're jumping in and they're doing a bunch of stuff. They're making their money. They're coming back out. They're going to jump back in. All these different things are happening. I have a couple concerns that really kind of worry me a little bit. Two things is 252, which I'm getting ready to put out. I had Tanner Emke on from CoBank, right? And Tanner's a staple on this podcast. I mean, he's on a lot, and we talk about a lot of different stuff. And natural gas is the primary ingredient in anhydrous.
Right. Correct.
So that kind of fundamentally flows into the fertilizer marketplace. I didn't know this till today, but Belarus, Ukraine, and I think even Russia are the 3 top producing countries of like potash, nitrogen, those kind of things. All those kind of little ingredients that go into making fertilizer. So fertilizer prices are already crazy high, right? And now you're gonna lump all this stuff back in together, and that that gap, in margin that we see on these crops, it's just incrementally just getting hammered.
Oh, absolutely.
One, day at a time. Which kind of brings into a. I sit back and I think about this. So the USDA came out with their perspective on Tuesday, I think. Their perspective acreage report, right? Kind of what that looks like and what they're thinking. And I'm going off memory here, so forgive me if I'm off here. But it was like 92 million acres of corn and like 87 million acres of soybeans. So if nitrogen becomes so wickedly expensive and hydrous becomes so crazy expensive, and it comes time to plant, what happens to the market when, okay, cool, well, we're not going to plant 92 million acres of corn. We're going to plant 90 million acres of corn.
Yeah.
And we're going to plant 90 million acres of soybeans.
It's happened before.
Yeah. Now, you couple all of that with, this crop coming out of South America, right? Was supposed to be the crop to save all the Indian stocks, and we're all supposed to be fat and drunk, and it didn't happen. Right. Old boy showed up to the party, but he didn't realize he was the one that was supposed to bring the beer.
Right. Exactly.
Oh, I was supposed to bring I thought I was just going to bring some of the beer.
Yeah, I got mine.
I got enough for me, but I didn't realize I was supposed to bring, right?
We brought a party ball,
Yeah.
but we also got 5 people in the
I
Broncos.
mean, I also
so,
have my own tap, so
Yeah.
whatever.
So
So
shit, man. I'm sorry. I didn't know.
So now you start looking at how this whole thing plays out. We're in an equipment marketplace right now where you have so much of this stuff that is pointing towards higher prices. I mean, I think like I've talked about on here, up until this Black Swan event happening, and it's a weird thing to talk about. It's a Black Swan, like, oh, this came out of nowhere. This whole Ukrainian Russian thing didn't come out of nowhere.
No.
I mean, they've been fighting.
I don't
each
pay
other.
attention to news, and I know 2 years ago it was bubbling.
2014, Russia, after the Sochi Olympics, Russia came in, got the Crimean Peninsula, and then you had Donetsk and Luhansk regions of Ukraine. Decided,
I thought maybe those were figure skaters or something.
No, you had these two places to decide, hey, you know what?
Dohan's shows.
You had these two places that decide, hey, we're not going to be Ukraine anymore.
Right.
We're going to be, the Panhandle, Nebraska is like we're close to Wyoming. So
Oh, damn, if only. Come on, baby.
So I mean, it's like that kind of deal,
What do you mean taxes?
So
Called coal mines.
So now you have that lined up, and that thing happened, and it just like slowly progressed. I went to Ukraine in 2018, 2019, 2020. Didn't go in 21. A couple, obviously, COVID and different job responsibilities and those kind of things kind of happened, but the whole time I was there, nobody acted like, when I was in Ukraine, no one. I'm sitting there like, you guys kind of worried about this over here?
Right.
Like, you go over in a car, like, do not take it west. Whatever. Don't care what. Do not go west of here, okay? And that was really how it was. That's like what they were telling, like, in that kind of a tone, right?
Right.
But you talk to the people in Ukraine, they're like, it's just whatever, This is just another way for some oligarchs to make some money. And I've heard that. I heard that so many times when I was over there, right? So to put that in perspective, Ukraine is like 2 Texases.
Right.
Right?
Of black dirt.
Right.
2 Texases of Illinois.
Right. I mean, it's like, but
See you guys digging post holes. Yeah, we're trying to get to that clay, but we're 10 feet down. We got 2 augers welded together.
The only way that I tried to explain this to people I've talked to, I mean, it would be like someone in Wichita, Kansas, saying, you know what? Yeah, I know these Texans are fighting the Mexicans down here on the border, but whatever,
Right.
San Antonio, El Paso decided they want to be part of the United States anymore, so they're going to go and join, Chihuahua,
Right.
freaking Mexico, and we're gonna go over there and fight. Could you imagine what I mean? I cannot for the life of me understand that. I don't get that.
And it's almost held as like just another day.
Right.
Until this week.
Yep. And everyone I talked to up until this happened, it was like, oh yeah, no big deal. No worries. It's whatever.
Well,
so I don't know if it was 8 years of just nothing ever happened past this little thing here, but you also didn't have. It wasn't like nothing happened here, so we just ignored it, and then all of a sudden they just showed up one day and decided to keep going east. There was somebody on the other side of that going like, guess what? It's time to pay the piper.
Right.
And you guys aren't really a real country anymore because here's why. And everything that what the hell Yeltsin came up with doesn't matter.
Boris.
Boris. No, whatever he came up with doesn't matter, right? There was somebody on the other side screaming at the top of their lungs that this was going to happen.
Right.
And I, for the life of me, I can't wrap my head around what drove that thinking. I mean, like.
Okay, here's why. When Vlad was riding around shirtless horseback, that was your first indicator, okay?
Right.
You had MAGA red hat, buddies or whatever they may be, keeping that under wraps a little bit. Like, just calm down a little bit. Like you and me, a big city, 1 a.m. You're going to make sure that things stay under wrap a little bit. Like, don't get carried away. Well, he's gone. Who's going to stop? Who's Vlad most worried about? Probably us.
NATO.
It all boils down to us. Say what you
Right.
want. It all boils down to us.
To some extent, yeah. But
It
I mean,
all boils down to us. Iraq War
yeah. But I mean,
times
yeah,
3.
but you got to understand that
Bosnia Herzegovina. All that. It all boils down to us. Okay? So, all he's worried about is us. Well, guess what? Last November, he ain't worried about us no more. And that, I am not a red hat wearing dude. I don't have a MAGA hat, but that's just my complete 1% worldly, 99% hayseed viewpoint.
right. So I think
There's got to be some truth to that, though.
I don't
You can't
know.
deny it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to sit here and say that because Donald Trump's not president anymore that he decided he was going to go get some.
I'm not
You know?
saying that. It's probably more who is there and how it's set up. If it would have been another really tight collar blue blazer Republican in there, you know, other than Donald, say W or HW or Ronald for shit's sakes.
Right. So there's a reason why Vladimir Putin said the hours as Russian troops were going into Russia or into Ukraine,
Right.
and launching airstrikes and everything else, and into Kiev and all around the world. You know, troops landed in Odessa and all across the country. Right. There's a reason why he said, if you come and jack with us while we're doing this, you will have. I can't remember. I'm paraphrasing here, but I remember
My thumb is on the button.
maybe he should be saying like you're gonna have issues that only your dreams could have fucking imagined of, right?
Right.
That's where he's coming from. So, I mean, there's only one other country that has as many or as more nuclear weapons than the United States. And that's Russia, right? All these other countries that we're worried about that are just making their first one, right? Well, we could fit all the nuclear missiles that we have in their entire country and line them up next to each other and around.
Right.
I mean, so that's part of it. I mean, the idea that there and what Vladimir Putin gave up to make this happen. I mean, there's a great article out there in the Financial Times of London, and I'm paraphrasing the title here, but
You and I
Google-
read very different publications. Very different.
What do you mean?
The Financial Times of London.
It's
The most sophisticated thing that shows up in this mailbox is Heritage Iron.
Well, I don't like get it. I just read it online. But I mean, there's an article out there that a great piece, and I would encourage anyone listening to this to Google this. It's like paraphrasing here, but it's something to the effect of Russia and China go back and rewrite the New World Order.
Right.
And the whole basis of the piece is that Russia and China feel like when the collapse of the Soviet Union happened, the United States had free reign to go do whatever they wanted because there was not another country on the planet that was going to keep them in check.
Right.
You could go do whatever they wanted to, right? And they list a bunch of different things in there, and it's a good article, makes a lot of sense. But the idea that of Russia and China is that they're two countries, and it's not like the United States and England or United States and Germany or France
Right.
or whoever. Like, they're literally like, hey, we live in the same subdivisions and we're neighbors, but we hate the rest of our neighbors.
Right.
Our neighbors
Exactly.
suck, right? And I don't necessarily like you, but I like you more than I hate the rest of my neighbors,
Yep.
right? And China has done a really good job of understanding what Vladimir Putin wants to have happen, and Vladimir Putin has given away the farm to make this happen.
Right.
Read an article this morning. They're talking about how, and again, I mean, I'm reading this stuff. I haven't fact checked any of this, so don't all the haters out there don't come jumping on me here.
Well, I checked on Snopes.
But it was something like you in the northern Arctic, you know, where China or Soviet Union is drilling oil and all those kind of things. They gave away like 30% of their rights to that, and then they gave away like 80% of the infrastructure for energy to China. And China, and they signed a deal. Basically, China was going to come in and say, "Hey, you go do what you want to. We got your back."
Right.
You know, basically what it boiled down to.
Right.
So now you've got this thing happen here. So we have all this turmoil happen right now. The commodity prices are going crazy. Unlimited amount of volatility. Machinery is at record highs right now.
Yep.
What does it look like when now all of a sudden, if you want to come, you want me to plant corn, USDA, you know, hedge funds, this, that, and the other thing.
Yep.
Cargill, all these things. You want me to plant corn? All right. Well, I can't do it unless it's $8, right? Because, you know, it's cover my costs, and, you know, Daddy needs a new pair of shoes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, so now all of a sudden you start looking at these high commodity prices that are here to stay now, right? Because if corn fell off to $3 again, or if wheat fell off to $2.50 or something like that again, no one's going to plant it.
Well,
I mean,
first of all,
people are going to plant it. I don't get me wrong. People are going to plant it, but it's not going to be in, like, I'm going to go out and just pour the freaking coals to it and try to get 300 bushels an acre.
corn, yes, always. They will always. Oh well, corn's $3. We need to raise 350 bushel. Pour the coals to it. Pour the coals to it.
But you can't do that now.
Guy,
It's a whole different
nobody.
realm.
There will never. I know it is, but there will. It was a whole different realm in '94 than it was in '70.
But the cost of inputs, man.
I know. Smart words, economics of scale.
There you go.
Okay.
I like that one. That's good.
A 4020 brand new rolled off the truck at $9,500. It wasn't 495,000 like an 8400 or 8R410, a 380 Magnum or whatever, a T something dot blah blah blah.
A T8.7.370 or whatever.
Yeah, LMNOP.
Right.
Power shift. So, when you look at it from the economics of scale standpoint, okay, that old Lister planter on the back of that 4020, and that guy, God, someday we're going to hit 3. We're going to hit 3. 70s are great. Into the 70s, most of the 80s, shit show. 90s, we start climbing back out, okay? It doesn't matter what realm is going on, what is happening, how much inputs are on scale. I remember, Casey, when $200 anhydrous was like, we're going to have a farm sale. No way is that going to work. There's no way. I remember $400. Oh my God. How on earth are we ever going to be able to farm a $400 anhydrous?
And the same thing was the first $100,000 combines. Like, how are we supposed to make
Yes.
this work?
Okay.
Right.
So now anhydrous is
Right.
$11 billion, and
Right.
all that is going to make those guys who raise corn and I. So the listeners know I am 90% cowboy, 10% farmer in my heart. So
That's being generous, by the way.
yeah, when people start, oh my God, you want to talk planter attachments and agronomics? I will get the best nap ever. Good thing I'm selling machinery, by the way. Anyway, when you look at that whole realm and the economics of scale, Those guys who raise that corn, everything in their life, their mailboxes are corn. They have corncob belt buckles. Everything is corn, corn, corn. They love it. They live it. They breathe it. Okay?
I understand
What they're going to do is, well, shit. We went from 7 down to 3. We're going to have to figure out how to go from 280 to 420.
And I understand where you're coming from. The biggest part of that, what you just talked about, the overarching main picture of what you're saying is, the last time I checked before this happened, the break even on corn was like 525, right? Typically, the rule of thumb is between 375 and 425, depending on what your input costs and all the thing, you know. So now you're looking at
prior to the
even
2019 won't ever die. Oh, by the way, here's 2020. Oh, and the Rona, and then shit show city after that. So
now you're looking at, then it was the price of natural gas in Europe, not in the United States, in Europe, rose 51.5%.
Oh, I know.
In the last 4 days.
Yes.
51.5%, dude. So, I mean, I'm not talking, I don't know what the price was. I mean, you're talking about $25 or $30.
Yeah, say it's $100 a cubic foot or whatever, then it
you're probably
becomes
paying
$150.
So, I mean, I think you're paying like 25 to $30, however they measure it. And then, you know, now you're looking at, I mean, you're seriously looking at $50. I mean, 51.5%, right? All of that stuff that, I mean, it's not, I guess the point of my rambling here is that you have more soybean acres are going to go into production.
I would be really surprised if at final acre count there isn't more beans than corn.
Exactly.
I would be shocked.
Yeah. And their biggest reason for that is
you can plant beans with an airplane and a harrow, for shit's sakes.
Right. Input costs are nothing compared to that. Wheat, same way.
It still gets hauled around your cool seed tender. You actually get hauled around way more.
Well, yeah,
and the neighbors all see it. So
yeah. The side effect to that is that we're going to see is that there is a budding market for soybeans because of soybean crush, right? And for this whole
by 20,
biodiesel,
did you see that? Did
yeah,
you see that? It's not a dynamic. What do they call it? When they graphic, the graphic. By 2025, the domestic soybean need is like damn near 50% greater, like doubling, or it's outlandish.
Yep.
That's 3 years from now, dude.
Yeah. So now let's put that on the perspective.
And you have an entire country, giant country, that the entire western half is burnt up, can't raise a damn thing. Maybe if we get some snow, we'll get 30 bushel wheat. That's it.
Yeah.
Nobody, under the pivots, they don't grow beans.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, to some extent, yeah. We don't grow soybeans out
From
here
the mountain and Pacific time zone.
Right.
I'll just say that. Mountain and Pacific time zones. Half of the country.
Right.
0 soybeans. Domestic,
for the most part, yeah.
need is going to double.
Hey, but there's more and more guys.
Thanks for playing, corn. Oh, never mind. Corn's $13 now. That's where we're going.
Yeah. But I think there's the big drawback there more than anything is
a lot of sheep for sale.
The biggest drawback there more than anything is that more guys in our area in this higher elevation where it's typically been harder to grow soybeans, you're really starting to see the soybean opportunities present themselves.
Yeah, oh yeah.
More guys are looking at doing that. I mean, we have a pretty hard line in our area. I mean, if you get like to you get west of Ogallala,
Yep.
the soybean starts to trickle off, right?
To zero.
But there's a lot of guys that are growing soybeans on the Nebraska-Wyoming border.
Yeah.
They're not getting the big bushels that everybody else is getting, but they're still growing soybeans.
It's not so much when it comes to our trade area, it's not so much that they won't make it. You're not going to get 80 bushel beans, but you can raise beans successfully. The problem is nothing out here is set up for it.
That's exactly right.
There's no infrastructure for soybeans. Because a friend of mine in Baird, he raised them in early 2000s, and he had to haul them all the way to Sydney to get rid of them.
Right. That's going to be a continued issue. So I've talked on here a lot about where I see this market heading and what this looks like. If commodity prices, I've got to write an article for Farm Equipment Magazine coming up here, and I've been thinking about what I want to write about and those kind of things. And where I keep going back to is writing an article that's a historical perspective of where planters started and where they're at now.
Ooh, yeah.
Right? Okay, that whole thing from being like, holy crap, we've got so many planters we can't see straight, when they're loaded to the gills with every possible piece of whatever,
Yeah.
to where now I've got all these, and there's not a person that wants to buy them.
Right.
I'm not selling a planter to anybody, right? So we dump them all, things go through, and they never come back because, holy crap, we sold everything off, and then the perfect storm happened, and it's just no one's really buying any new planters right now.
Are you listening, combines? Pay close attention.
But combines should have had the same thing, but that didn't happen.
No. You know why?
Why?
We both know why. We're very guilty of it. There's no such thing as custom planters.
That's true.
However, custom harvesters
yeah.
is a big business, man.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
Nobody shows up and trades in 13 planters.
No. Thank God. No one knows that. So I've been thinking about kind of what that perspective looks like. And
I want to see that, though. I want to be like custom harvesters, but you're custom planters. So what do you guys do? Well, we got like quad axle Pete's and 80-foot RGNs and 7 pilot cars. But we get that DB120 all the way down to South Texas. It works great. I'm sorry. Continue. You're the smart one.
No, I'm just dumber than the day is long. But the one thing about this that I think about a lot is, I mean, the entire market could be the planter market. If prices stay high like this right here, I mean, it doesn't matter how much new I sell you if that every used piece behind that is sold. Because, I mean, the delineation between the new buyer and the first used buyer, the second used buyer, the third, those lines of delineation are getting to be more bolder and wider and more fixed than they've ever been in the past.
Because if you have a set area with a border and you make that border thicker, the set area gets smaller, right? And that's what's happening.
Some of that's just
big
to some
time.
extent, but I mean a lot of it is, I've got X acres, and I can only spread so much cost across X acres, right? If I farm 25,000 acres, I can spread this amount of cost across my acres, right? Now, whatever that is, you can do that. If I got 5,000 acres, then I can do X number of dollars. It's the same dollars per acre, right? It's just on 5,000 acres versus 25,000 acres, right?
Yeah.
So it's just, for easy math, let's just say it's $10 an acre. At 25,000 acres, I can spend $250,000 to do that on those 25,000 acres.
Exactly.
Right? On 5,000 acres, I can spend $50,000 to do that. And then the guy over here that's got 1,500 acres at $10 an acre, I can spend 15,000.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? So now you start running into a bunch of different areas of what can I do. I mean, there's only so many $400,000 tractors and $500,000 combines you can put across acres.
Right.
You know what I mean? So there comes a point in time where, like, I would love to have a new combine, but I don't want to spend, the $500,000 to get this over here. But I can spend the $350,000 or $400,000 or whatever it is to get here. And this guy's going like, I would sure like to have the $400,000 or something, but I can't. But I can sure spend the $250,000.
Yep.
All the way down that way that line looks. That we're in a point of time right now where we don't have, we're not selling into a large volume of used equipment that's already sitting out there.
No volume.
Like no volume.
As far as volume, the word volume, there is no volume of anything.
It's like I'll forever in my mind remember this. My mom used to say this all the time. Like, I just went to the grocery store,
Right.
and there's like nothing left in the house. I went to the grocery store on Saturday.
Trash can's full though.
Yeah, exactly. It's Tuesday, and you've eaten everything in the house, right? That's where we're at. I mean, like we're getting groceries on Saturday, and Tuesday we're out.
Absolutely.
So if tomorrow we wake up and everything gets back to normal, and the price of things stay the way they are, I don't think we're going to see a repeat of what we saw in 2009 to 2012. I don't think we're going to see guys that are jumping over the top of whatever to get to whatever. Because you got to remember something. You got to remember this. The price of a machine, a 2008 Deere, Agco, whatever it was a, you're looking at a $250,000 combine.
Oh yeah.
Right? In 2008, 2009, 2007, something like that.
Yep.
200,000 to 250,000.
I remember when they hit 3.
Yeah. What are you looking at now?
5.
2.5 times almost as much as that is. Well, 2.5 times, but 2.25 times what it is.
Yeah.
And you went from 200,000 to 225,000 to 500,000.
Yep.
475, 525. Somewhere in that. If you buy a new combine today, I don't care what brand you're buying. Take programs out of the fucking mix and everything else. You're spending $475 to $525 for a new combine.
Yep.
You're spending $350 to $425 for a tractor. I'm talking row crop tractor.
Easy.
And then you start jumping into a 4-wheel drive. You're spending $500 to $625.
Yep.
Depending on what you got set up with.
Yep.
And if you have 500,000 is a bareback.
Oh yeah. Small
tiny thing. I mean, those two. You put 3-point PTO on something like that. That's $50,000 worth of options.
Right there.
Right.
Actually, it's 60.
60. Okay. So you have, and then you throw high pump, 6 valves, everything else on that. You spend $100,000 to make that happen
in no time.
So when I'm looking at what's happening in the marketplace, to me, it's hard for me to sit here and tell you that if prices stay elevated like this for any amount of time, we're going to continue to, this is going to be like a 5 or 6 year deal from today.
Well,
you know what I mean?
That fits your timeline.
But my timeline was 24. We have a little bit of a correction, a little bit of calmness that comes into play.
Yeah, that looks.
So now I'm thinking like pushing that back to 26.
Yeah.
Not because of the supply issues, but there's no use. So I need you to buy this. I need you to buy this new piece so I can buy your used piece.
Yeah.
I've got used piece sold.
Exactly.
I can sell your used piece.
We're already
Please,
there.
God, give me this.
We're already there.
But at a higher level, like almost like an institutional level at that point. You see what I'm saying? Not like, hey, I got an opportunity for you, but it's like, hey, this is like, like you're supposed to do this.
So if anybody's looking for somebody that's really into the machinery business, I'll be unemployed soon. So don't be afraid to reach out because I will have nothing to do.
But at the end of the day, interest rates are going to play a part of this.
Yeah.
And
They're claiming faster. They're climbing faster than people talk about.
Yeah. Yeah,
Because I know I financed a couple things in the last week, and I'm like, oh my God, I haven't seen that number for a long time.
Yeah, I think. I really think this is just I just think this is reset what we're doing, and I don't see anything stopping this from happening moving forward.
I hear you. But, and this is back to that. The guys that grow corn are going to do whatever to grow corn, right?
Right.
Whatever happens, we'll pound through it.
Oh, we always do. Yeah.
But
the one thing different between now and that is not.
There's
nothing. There's no backstock.
Right. We are in a moment now that has never, ever, ever happened. Ever.
And it's just that rebound, assuming that everything stays the way that it is, and like I said, there's a million different things that play in this. Section 179.
Right.
Sunsets this year.
Yep.
Right. Now, if Congress does not do something with that, that's not just some kind of whatever it's going to be. That's an economy thing.
Right.
Right. I mean, you start looking at.
It'll hit us right away. It'll hit everybody else in a couple years.
Everybody. I mean, you're talking like car dealerships, equipment dealerships, construction dealerships, specialty equipment manufacturing, those kind of all those things.
Vehicles.
All that. Every bit of that. I mean, all that stuff just all of a sudden now has a.
It's no coincidence that the pickup shortage is tied in with the ag economy fixing itself.
Yeah, I mean, to some extent, but I mean, at the same time, but you got to lump all that stuff together.
I understand, the shortages in supply and all that, but if farmers hated pickups, there wouldn't be the pickup mess there is. I promise you.
Dude, but you're talking about, you got construction companies, you got contractors.
Okay, equipment operators, how about that? Tractors, scrapers, I don't care what you drive. If you drive something, if you're outdoors working with soil, you drive a pickup. Or you have lots of pickups in your company. Either way, that's what it's from.
If I'm
Those
roofing
same
houses,
people,
I'm not driving a Toyota Camry.
If you what?
If I'm roofing a house, I'm not driving a Toyota Camry.
No, that's construction.
Right, but that's my point. Is like the pickup thing. I mean, I've been to a lot of places in the world, and I see a lot of like minivans with ladders on top of them.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I know. But to piggyback on that, it's just like anything after the last, from you got 19, 20, 21, 4 years. By the time this year is over, it's affected semis, it's affected trailers, it's affected pickups. Just from ag. Because ag turning around I shouldn't say because of ag. Ag has at least doubled all of it.
I don't agree with that. I mean,
I will.
I mean, ag obviously had a big play in all this.
The biggest things most farms want to throw some money at to get better is a truck. Because when every farmer gets their first semi, it runs, it drives, it pulls that trailer. Good enough. And then, well, I'd like this, I'd like this, I'd like this. Same with pickups, same with all of it.
I hear you, but
You just refuse to. Refuse to agree, and I understand that.
no, my thing with that is that there is you have all the energy,
Right.
all the trucks that go into energy, right? You have all of the. I'm talking like Ford F-250s,
Right.
I'm talking like all the
XL
Peaks.
crank windows.
Right.
Their claim to fame with the 38 years, or no, how old am I? 43. 43 years. It's easy to remember.
Right.
America's #1 selling pickup. And then the guy coughs and goes, to fleets.
It's a sells a sell, bro.
Oh my God. Yep.
It sells a sell.
Freightliner sells a lot of trucks too, but owner-operators don't drive them.
Right. And
Same damn scenario.
a
buddy.
sell's a sell. That's all it is.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, I mean, don't get me wrong. I think I'm taking obviously guys are buying stuff, but I mean, I get all that.
I also, so you know this, or
But there's
I'm going to
a
remind you.
Broader spectrum here.
Right. When I talk about the economy, it's like 308, 402, 620, 785.
All right.
Maybe we get to like 217, but that's a stretch.
Yeah. So, I guess to wrap all this up, with this situation that we see happening with Russia and Ukraine, to be real honest with you, my predictions I have are now probably 2 years out. 2 years out further.
Even if it ends tomorrow.
Yeah, because I mean, even if it ends tomorrow, it's not like it ends tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Right. I mean, if it ends tomorrow,
It's kind of one of those, I get a feeling it's one of those never ends deals.
well, I mean, I think it's going to be one of those deals where Russia's going to get caught in a quagmire, and I mean, obviously the Russian people have said that we're not. Go out and watch that Snake Island video. You watch that? Dude, that's the most inspirational thing. I'm gonna freaking put that
Is that farm equipment?
every morning when I wake up to go lift weights. I'm gonna listen to that thing. I mean,
If you're listening to it to lift weights, I probably don't need to see it.
it's the Russian people or the Ukrainian people are not stopping. So if Putin thinks he's going to come in and oust Zelensky and that everyone's just going to fall in line, it's going to be cool, got a new president, awesome. Well, we're going to go underground now, and we're going to we're going to go out and sabotage all this stuff and do these other things. Something like 65 or 70% of Russia's economy is based off of energy, natural gas, oil, those kind of things.
Yep.
Nord Stream 2 is a big deal, right? So, if stability in the world is, they're worried about pipelines and they're worried about ports in and out of the Black Sea, and Russia's producing an absorbent amount of wheat, and Ukraine is producing more and more corn and soybeans every year. I mean, I apologize. The Ukrainian flag is yellow over blue.
Right.
Or sorry, blue over yellow. And that is the blue sky over the golden wheat, right? And that's what that stands for. And if you've never been to Ukraine, the only way I can describe it to you, the denseness of the soil, it's like Iowa, Illinois, and Indiana all had a kid.
Right.
And they named it Ukraine, right?
Yep.
And I mean, the dirt is as black can be. Walking through Kiev, looking at road construction, and they're building a sidewalk or they're putting in a pipe or whatever it is, and there's a pile of dirt sitting next to where they're
Right.
and it is topsoil. I mean, it's like you go down to the local hardware store and grab a bag of topsoil.
Yeah, potting soil.
It's 15 tons of that sitting there, right? There is more. There's a reason why the Nazis, when they were leaving that place, they were taking train loads of topsoil back to Germany.
Right.
I mean, it's just stuff like that where it was just the Ukrainian people are just an awesome group of people that are they were just kind of figuring their way through where they were at to where they're coming into right now.
Right,
They were growing into this thing. And
they had a very big pause in the middle of that.
I mean, it was just, it was, you wake up one day and you're 16 years old and they're like, all right, dude, go out and make it.
Right.
Figure it out, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really kind of what happened. I mean, that's
You don't have to stand in the bread line today.
Yeah, and so all this stuff that's happened, all these crazy things were happening, we're seeing all these things come together, and it's just one of those things where we have created I don't know, we have created, but a scenario has been created now that is going to not refill what we see happening in the overall grand structure of the market.
Gotcha.
Right? We're going to sell a bunch of new, and there's just not going to be any used that comes in behind it because people are going to be buying that used.
Right.
Because those lines of delineation between the first, the second, the third, and so on and so forth, those lines are growing in density.
Yep.
Where there's customers that I work with right now that are telling me right now, yeah, you're right, I could go buy the new stuff, I could do all this stuff, but buying that used just feels better to me.
Yep. Exactly.
And they're not, to be really honest with you, they're not saving themselves any money.
Right. It goes back to that whole.
It's almost
as soon as you drive it off the lot,
Yeah.
it depreciates.
It's a 6 1 half dozen another scenario, but at the end of the day, man, I tell you what, this market that we see right now, in my opinion, is just not going to change for any time in the foreseeable future. If Case, New Holland, I guess it's CNH, AGCO, Deere, all these people come together and they're like, all right, we're full scale now. We're 100% back to the way it was. I just don't see that changing the way values and the overall used equipment marketplace. I mean, yes, we're going to get this absorbent premium knocked off the top. That's no doubt about that. But physical inventory on the lot, I just don't see it.
No.
Anytime soon.
I get it.
I just don't see it. So
From the front lines, I agree with you.
So anyway, if folks want to reach out to you Aaron, and get more information about what it is that you're doing and stuff you got, what's the best way to do that?
Well, you can email me, aaron.fintel@movingironllc.com.
Right on.
Call me or text me, text preferred if you can, 308-760-1193. Or I'm pretty active on the Twitterverse at @aaronfintel and also on Facebook.
Right on.
So, good Lord, if that don't cover it,
Yep.
send a smoke signal.
It's awful windy out here. You won't know for sure if it's what it is.
It's true.
It's
Could be somebody from Kansas trying to be like, damn, I'm trying to get a hold of you, and it's a north wind, and it's all smoky here.
If we get Kansas smoke, then we got problems.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, I'm Casey Seymour with Moving Iron Podcast. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can also send me an email at MovingIronPodcast@MovingIronPodcast.com, or you can give me a call at 308-765-0495. Check that out there. Give me a call there. Also go to MovingIronLLC.com. That's a great place to find all the podcasts, all the blogs, and all the information for the Moving Iron Summit coming up in Nashville, Tennessee, September 6th, 7th, and 8th. That is open to anybody that wants to come to that. If you're an equipment dealer of any kind, hit me up. Sign
Color,
up.
new use.
It doesn't matter. If you're
Come one, come all. Step right up.
if you sell equipment for a living, hit me up. It'd be a great place for you to check that out. So give that a whirl. The world is a crazy place right now, and there's a lot of people out there that are in tough situations, and those people are in my thoughts and prayers. So I would ask for everyone out here to give those same things a whirl. So with that, I am Casey Seymour with Aaron Fiddle. Let's go smart, folks. Out. Axon Tire is going to have more tips, tricks, and client advice throughout the year and in September at the Moving Iron Summit in Nashville. If you're looking to sign up for the event, please head over to MovingIronLLC.com. We hope to see you there. Valley Transportation has been hauling ag and construction equipment across the country for the past 33 years. Call Parker at 800-657-4910 or go to valleytransitinc.com for all of your trucking needs. At Valley Transportation, our goal is to help you reach yours. And no matter how you buy ag equipment from a dealer, auction, or a private party, AgDirect can help you finance it. You can even apply online at agdirect.com. Learn more about your financing options at agdirect.com.
Moving higher in the 21st century.